Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick, and today guys we're going to be jumping down into the world of XRP, taking a look at what's been going on most recently, what we think is likely to happen next, and all that wonderful stuff. As I get into the video, if you find it useful and informative, smash that like button. I do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And if you haven't yet joined us in Discord guys, what are you waiting for? Check it out. Link is in the description below. Let's jump right down into this one, right? So here we have XRP paired up with USDT. We're using the 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘 exchange, and we're on the 1 hour time frame. There's a lot going on here. From the previous video, you can see that our expectations were to continue a move to the downside around 40.7 to 42.821. That's going to be on the lower side of things. That's kind of where this big C wave is kind of looking to kind of target down towards. You can see we hit our other expectation at 45.08 to 46.014, and a bounce from there was kind of due. We can find that we are moving up and have moved up towards our 200 EMA, which has rejected the price action at the moment. I think we are going to be targeting out the equilibrium though, so this brief rejection from our 200 EMA I don't think will be lasting too long. Let's go ahead and zoom in on just that and take a look at what's going on. Okay, so here we can see that we wicked down, we've pushed up. The wick is an indication of huge buying pressure, also happened to coincide right with our expectations, and then of course we can see here that we have our 200 EMA. So our 50 EMA is the red line, white EMA is the white line is the 200 EMA. You can see that we were rejected on the 50 EMA. We rejected down, we broke through, and we really pushed through. We found to the 200 EMA and got rejected. We also see that this is an area of red selling pressure in the internal sell order blocks, so not terribly too much of a problem there. There is a small fair value gap, a little bit higher in the price chart here, which happens to coincide with equilibrium, when equilibrium is essentially 50% level between the discount and the premium ranging. So all of that is not too bad. So all in all, it looks like we are probably going to have a small correction down and then probably target our equilibrium. So let's reflect on that. What do we mean? So it looks like we are probably going to have something like this go on here, where we're probably going to be looking at kind of coming down to this range of consolidation where we were previously. This will then basically allow us to look at this market as a potential A wave up, B wave down, C wave up, where we look to try to push up higher than equilibrium, grab that fair value gap, and then start to think about that move to the downside, where we have our targeted range at 40 to 42.8, right? So that's going to be the expectations from an Elliott wave point of view, and that's kind of where that one kind of sits in my opinion. Now our momentum indicator being down here, you can see is correcting on the 1 hour time frame. On the 4 hour time frame it's overbought. On the 8 hour time frame it's almost overbought. On the 12 hour it's still got progression upwards, 16 hours should be the same, 20 hours should be the same, and the daily is got loads of progression to the upside. Okay, so it does look like we've got a little bit of volatility to be expected on these kind of smaller time frames, but for the most part we are looking at a big break to the upside. Now it's possible, as I said yesterday, that this C wave structure and our expectations on the low side actually have already been met up here. Okay, this technical low point, this wick that we had, is an area that can be classified as our C wave being complete. Okay, our C wave typically would move down to this 40 to 42 cent range. However, our minimum expectation has been met, our minimum expectation being a double bottom with our A wave, so that would have been 45.632. okay, so anything lower than 45.632 technically means our C wave is complete. Okay, however, I suspect that there is still more movement to this to the downside, but you know, things change very rapidly, so we want to be rather cautious. Okay, I'm going to remove some of these old fair value gaps. We don't need to see so much clutter here. I'm going to remove those from the chart. I'm going to leave that one on there, and I'll leave the fib charts on there at the moment as well. Now if I jump on over into 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘 and we head over to the trade section, spot trading, and then we check the XRP USDT pair, and this is going to load up TradingView within 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘 itself. It shows you the order books, shows you the places to place your orders and all that kind of stuff. Here you can see, if we just scale this back in, that although our move to the downside here is something that we can talk about and expect on those smaller time frames, realistically speaking, it's a part of a much bigger play to the upside. And we want to consider the fact that yes, we are still targeting out some really interesting high levels on XRP's price action, even though there might be some smaller tweaks to the downside. Okay, it's important that we reflect on that and understand that what we're talking about here are different time frames and different time horizons. Okay, and I have to talk about this because it comes up in the comment section way too much, or it happens to appear on Twitter where people unfortunately just look at the thumbnails and make conclusions without actually watching the content, or they skip through very critical parts of the content and don't even know it exists. And I talk about things like this, for example, right? So we bring it up because different time horizons are very important, right? The hourly time frame is probably looking at a correction to the downside, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to be hitting our threshold of 60 to 90 cent, right? Those are areas in the price chart on the daily time frame, which will take weeks to play out. There's a difference between something that's going to happen over the next kind of 48 hours and something that is going to happen, in my opinion, over the next 2 to 3 weeks, right? Very different time horizons. It's important we understand this as retail investors. Otherwise, we're always going to get tripped up and not understand what's going on with the price action. It keeps you confused, keeps you in a state of fear, and that's not really what you want. You need to have a more cool, level-headed approach to these things and understand that different timelines have different outcomes, although they are all in synergy together, as in we have to go down to go up, right? And we have to go up to go down. And these are things that I talk about because we're talking about different time horizons, different time frames, and analysis that spans across all of it. So here on 𝗕𝗘𝗪, we can see that there are fair value gaps, right? There's two of interest to me on this daily time frame. We have that low one down at 43 to 43.7, and then we have one at the higher range at 53.8 to 56.1. Okay, these are created from the imbalances in the order books. Essentially, large buy orders come in that can't be met until price moves up to the sellers, and large sell orders that can't be met until price goes down and finds the buyers, right? As such, these imbalances in the order book create illiquidity, and that illiquidity creates these gaps in the price chart where price eventually in the future will gravitate back towards. And obviously, if you're into XRP, you know all about liquidity and how important liquidity is, because liquidity means that you can buy and sell without affecting price. Everything is stable. Okay, so think of a highly liquid market as a stable coin, and you're kind of getting the right picture, right? If you see in price move, then you've got illiquidity or imbalances in the order books. The supply and demand metrics are creating imbalances between the supply and the demand, or the buyers and the sellers, and as such, price will move accordingly. That movement is a representation of an illiquid market, or a market that is not as liquid as it needs to be to surface the supply and the demand. Okay, now normally it's okay. It's okay to have small incremental changes with your price when there's an imbalance in the supply and the demand. However, if you have a large player, an institution, for example, come in with a large order that creates a massive imbalance, and it basically creates gaps in the price chart, and this gap in the price chart is what is called a fair value gap. I did a whole course on this. You can join us down in Discord if you're looking for more information around all of that as well. But for the most part, as you can see here on 𝗕𝗘𝗪, we have the trading view, we have the order books, we can make these assumptions, and we can make the analysis that understand why these gaps are created and how we can trade them. Okay, price will move to these gaps at some point in the future. Now, if you haven't yet checked out 𝗕𝗘𝗪, check it out. Affiliate link is in the description down below. If you're looking for an exchange that sells on spot XRP, then why not check out 𝗕𝗘𝗪? It's a fantastic platform that I do all my leverage trading on, and 90 to 95% of all of my spot trading on as well. And the fantastic thing with this is that it's on spot. You can buy it and you can remove it straight to a hardware wallet or cold storage device, so it doesn't have to stay on the exchange. And if you're a leverage based trader, then you can check that out as well. Ultimately, it's my go-to platform, and if you haven't already checked it out or set up an account, I think you should, but that's just my humble opinion on it. Affiliate link is in the description below. Check it out if you're looking for an exchange that sells XRP. KYC is optional, but they are starting to, obviously, as regulations crop up, many exchanges are starting to have to roll it out. 𝗕𝗘𝗪 are trying to avoid it for as long as possible. They have zero intention of making it mandatory, at least the last time I spoke to them, but we shall see how that kind of plays out. Like any other exchange, these things may change. Now, I would say that it's always great to have access to as many exchanges as possible, so if you haven't already checked it out and signed up, why not sign it up to 𝗕𝗘𝗪 using the affiliate link in the description below. If you do, you can take advantage of some of the fantastic sign up bonuses and rewards available up to $8,000. So check it out. as I said, affiliate link is in the description below. It's always better to have access to more exchanges so that if anything goes wrong with ones you like, then you have a backup plan. Let's move back to the charts, right? So if we come down into our XRP USD Binance chart, this one being the daily time frame, this is the one that's plotted out our next kind of bigger moves, right? So on the daily time frame, we're targeting out the 62 to 67 cent. That is going to adjust ever so slightly as we potentially pull back on the hourly time frame. So as we can kind of see, our expectations are a three-wave pattern here. But if we have to move down towards that kind of 40-cent range, i.e. we probably have to test these lows a little bit, maybe I'll just put it at 42, you can start to see that our expectations are going to change accordingly, right? So if I just take the existing low right now, then it's going to adjust us down just ever so slightly, more towards kind of 61 to 66 cent. Let me see if I can get that a little bit closer, right about here. So that comes in at 61.87 to 66.70. And if I remove that off, you can still see that our higher expectation is set here at 79.91 to 93.96. That hasn't changed. That still remains true because we haven't hit those bear market low points just yet, or gone down lower than the existing local low, to be more specific. So for now, it looks pretty strong. We obviously have our most recent low being at 30 cent. Our bear market low at the moment sits at 28. And so very, very good low points, and we've moved up quite nicely from them. At the moment, I'm not too concerned, and we are, of course, doing the obvious coil up. So we can see here that we're coiling up into a bit of a move. Let me see if I can get that trend line in here as well. Coiling up into here. So we know that something big is eventually going to happen. I'm expecting a move to the upside here. This ascending triangular wedge. Now, this would normally be a bearish tail, so caution with that a little bit. It might be that we finally reach this upper area and then we push back down before we have that move up, but for now we'll see how that one plays out. But for the most part, yeah, my expectations are kind of mapped out here on this 1 hour time frame, 1 day time frame. Now on the hourly, obviously we have our lows, that hasn't changed, and of course, you know, if we kind of take a look at this from the higher highs and the higher lows, or the lower highs and the lower lows, we can see that we're in these interesting kind of patterns where we're looking for these continuation breaks to the upside. This won't last forever though, and of course, you know, I think in the future we do have some really interesting kind of price expectations when it comes to XRP. So when that lawsuit with the SEC comes to an end, 582 to 1180, that would there be a technical third wave finishing structure. So A, B, and C, nothing more than that by the looks of it. We have all corrections up this end, corrections coming down, and I would look for either an impulsive or correction moving to the upside. At the moment, it could be either. Too soon to really know, but I'm looking forward to a new all-time high on XRP as that case comes to an end. This may happen outside of an actual bullish market, although I do think if the SEC were to lose, I think that may even in fact trigger just a huge influx of retail investors back into the crypto space. Demand at the moment is low. We're not in the bullish time through the very standard definition that the demand is lower than the supply. So for now, you know, until that changes, we are in a state of flux where it can go either way. But I think the case is going to be really a big driver for getting us into a new all-time high on XRP. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. I'm going to leave the video right there. If you found it useful and informative, smash the like button. If you're new, subscribe, and don't forget to join us down in Discord, guys. I'll catch you all in the next one.
We are not financial advisors. None of what we have communicated verbally or in writing here should be considered as financial advice. It is not. Do your own research before investing in any digital asset or affiliate offers, and understand that investing in any crypto is risky. If you do, you need to be prepared to lose your entire investment. This video is for information and entertainment purposes only. All our videos are strictly personal opinions. Please make sure you do your own research and never take our opinions for financial guidance. There are multiple strategies, and not all strategies fit all people. Our videos are not financial advice.